The sky should show geometry you can model, not just marvel at. Geometry in the sky, triangles re-examined. While the ground stayed messy, the sky kept handing us clean math. Multi-angle city events became the stress test. In one Phoenix-style night, phones, dashcams, and a balcony DSLR all caught the same triangle drifting over neighborhoods. Three-corner lights held spacing while a softer central glow pulsed, blue at the edges, violet inside. Timelines sync down to seconds. When you stack the clips, parallax falls away, and the geometry holds like it's pinned to an invisible frame. Stakes first. For people under that shape, silence becomes the argument. No engine wash. No rotor slap. Dogs bark, then stop. Kids stare, then sit down like they're suddenly tired. A city that's used to aircraft looks up and can't file it. If these are formations, not hulls, then the risk shifts from unknown craft to unknown system. That difference matters because systems scale. Craft don't have to. Action as it unfolded looks like this. The triangle idles over an arterial for 3 minutes, then eases diagonally without rotating, as if the base moved and the corners tracked a template. A bus camera catches the same alignment from the opposite side of town. The spacing matches within a few percent. Meanwhile, a pilot on descent calls a silent 3-light form at 15,000 feet. Blue on the corners, a dimmer violet center, no return on the scope. Turbulence is moderate, but the triangle rides smooth, unbothered by gusts that jostle everyone else. Impact hit investigators in the edit bay. Thermal drones from a hobby group inland caught a sharp triangular heat silhouette against colder cloud. No exhaust plume, no hot leading edge, just 3 points bracketing a cooler interior that still reads as structure because the points steer the outline. Then, a diagonal acceleration pops, no banking, no arc, just a vector change like a cursor dragged across a screen. Wind reports that night show gusts crosswise to the movement. The form doesn't care. Meanwhile, AI pattern flags started piling up. Civilian teams ran. Computer vision on hours of Skywatch feeds, and flagged repeating equilateral nodes across regions months apart. Distances between corner lights landed in narrow bands, template tight. Scale held within tolerances you'd expect from a system designed for coverage, not spectacle. The software doesn't prove intent, but it crushes the random alignment escape hatch. Humans miss patterns when they're tired. The model isn't. This was the moment everything changed for the triangles. Instead of arguing craft or illusion, analysts tested formation masquerading as craft. Drop the expectation of a solid hull, and the footage starts behaving. That black body, people swear they see between lights, fades in and out with the corner intensity, like our brains are filling the void the way they do with the Knizia triangle. When the corner lights dim, the supposed body shrinks with them. Geometry, not metal, carries the shape. Stakes escalate when you fold in the pilot accounts. One commercial crew described the form pacing them just off starboard, larger than their 737, silent, steady, with that central violet that refuses to register clean on video. Instruments stayed glitchy. Radios fuzzed for a minute, then snapped back. Notecast alert. If it's a single vehicle, it's breaking the rules we know. If it's 3 synchronized nodes, the behavior matches what trilateration hubs would do. Hold, measure, adjust, move. Action keeps tightening around repeatability. A week after the Phoenix-style event, a different city logs a near clone. Same corner hue, same spacing within a tight ratio, same diagonal step. Meanwhile, a thermal capture from a ridge line shows the triangle holding position in a high wind warning. Trees bow, the points don't. Then it skews, keeping the base equilateral while sliding along a line that maps neatly to a power corridor below. The match isn't exact, but it's close enough to raise eyebrows among people who didn't plan to care. Impact ripples outward. AI cross-checks flag the same template in South America and Eastern Europe, scaled up and down but holding proportions. Pilots swap notes quietly and start writing ASRS reports that mention triangles without using the word triangle. Citizens argue online about drones and blimps. The timestamps keep undercutting the easy outs. The more angles you add, the less room there is for chance. Pushback deserves airtime. Reflections can trick you. Pattern matchers can overfit. Some thermal silhouettes are artifacts. Fair. But when independent sources, different lenses, and separate nights converge on the same equilateral discipline, you don't need to name the builder to admit a design. Here's where Jackson's model slots in clean. Type 1 as hubs explains the triangle as 3 spheres locked in coordinated geometry, scaling with the job below, not a single craft sneaking around. Type 2 relays stencil the corridors beneath. Type 3 brushes the surface and makes people dizzy enough to leave a room. The triangle becomes the visible math of an invisible assignment. Fix 3 points, bracket a volume, do the work, step off. A micro-story seals the beat. A high school kid on a rooftop in Manila steadies his phone as 3 lights hang over the bay. His mother texts, "Come down." He doesn't answer. The corners pulse once, blue then calm. Across town, a substation alarm clears. The triangle drifts sideways, still a triangle, and fades like someone slid a dimmer. He finally texts back, "It wasn't a plane." Now ask the only question that matters. If triangles are hubs, when do they
Trigger
show
windows
up? And launches, collisions, and exercises. If triangles are hubs, timing is the tell. Watch what happens when heavy metal leaves the pad. During launch bursts, Starlink stacks, Kuiper runs, national payloads, the sky doesn't just glow from exhaust. Minutes after ascent, arcs of Type 1 patterns appear high and wide, moving on paths that don't match boosters or second stages. They don't chase the rocket. They bracket a region beside it, spacing clean, then sliding as if updating a box the launch just disturbed. From the ground, it reads as 3 calm lights. In telemetry rooms, it reads like someone else switched on a supervisor. Stakes, plain and human. Launch crews step outside between milestones and catch a triangle idling against thin cloud. They smoke, they watch, they go back in, and the board flickers with a comms anomaly that clears by itself. Pilots ferrying circuits under restricted corridors file quiet ASRS notes about unlit formation, notecasts, steady geometry. None of them can prove cause. All of them remember the timing. Action tightens when collisions threaten. When the catalogs flag conjunctions, near-miss clusters that spike risk in a band, witnesses report orbs aligning above the debris stream. Not frantic, not chasing fragments, just holding equilateral on a parallel track while emission profiles go odd on independent receivers. RF monitors pick up short bursts, not at the collision point but offset, like a hand cupped around a shout. Some analysts argue debris chaos explains the noise. Others point to repeated offset signatures during separate events and ask why disorder keeps producing order. Impact lands in the data gaps. After a breakup, you expect a mess. Instead, local ham operators hear a sharp dip in noise floor earlier than modeled. Observatory feeds note brief glare, then a comm that arrives slightly too fast. It isn't proof. It's a footprint with a stride you can measure. Hold formation, chirp, withdraw. The next time an old satellite flares and fragments, somebody up there is early, like they read the calendar. Meanwhile, military drills draw their own windows. Restricted corridors light up on paper. Luminous formations mirror those routes overhead. Missile tests out on the range? Orbs align along the run, spacing precise, pacing at altitude like they're tracing rules the missiles obey. On the ground, mobile arrays point up from gravel lots, tripods, dish hats, sealed cases. Unknown to them, across town, 3 points hang above the path the convoy will take home. Personnel keep a calm, procedural demeanor. No scramble. The posture isn't surprise. It's expectation. Stakes escalate for people under the routes. Families near training areas hear the same low buzz they can't find the source of. A kid's walkie squeals and dies. Streetlights along a perimeter road flicker in a pattern that matches the corner pulses above. Nobody's harmed, but everyone notices. You can chalk one night up to coincidence. When the same cadence shows during 3 drills in 3 states, you don't need agreement on motive to admit the pattern shows up on time. Action cycles through the life of spacecraft too. Not just rockets and tests, but the quiet maintenance, orbital raises, station keeping, reactional swaps, anomaly safes. During those windows, faint orbs show near malfunctioning birds. They hold for minutes, dim, drift, and vanish on vectors that don't match any tracked satellite. The timing hugs abnormal telemetry. Again, you can't say it's interaction. You can say it's consistent. Impact hits operational judgment. If clusters form whenever we stress a band, by launches, by collisions, by rehearsals, then planners are flying inside someone else's calendar. Debris mitigation becomes more than stewardship. It's prudence around a system that might act when thresholds trip. Anti-ASAT norms stop sounding like virtue alone and start reading like self-preservation in a crowded sky that draws attention from more than rivals. Meanwhile, the caution line doesn't move. Correlation isn't causation. Sensors spit false positives. People love a story. Fair. But repeatability demands structured monitoring. That's why the AI pivot makes sense here. You need models to watch the clock, launch T plus X, collision T, Y, drill Zulu to Zulu. If triangles flicker in those windows, the models will see the geometry before humans do. And when they do, the question shifts from did something appear to why at that moment. A microstory nails the feel. A range safety officer in the Pacific signs off a missile detection exercise. He steps outside. The night is clean, stars crisp. 3 lights sit high, equilateral, untroubled by the gusts that rattle the hangar door. He checks his watch. The last simulated intercept just ended. His radio pops once, then quiet. The triangle slides sideways and fades like a dimmer. He goes back in and says nothing. In the aftermath, plans change by degrees. Launch windows stagger to avoid. Crowded bands. Exercises shift by an hour. Collision alerts trigger extra eyes on the RF spectrum. Nobody writes spheres on the checklist. They don't have to. The behavior already treats the formations as operational facts. And that's the pivot. Monitoring at this pace needs compute. The AI turn explains the speed. The AI turn. Space Force FI 2025 and beyond. While the timing windows kept stacking, the people inside the watch floors changed how they worked. On March 19, 2025, Space Force published a roadmap with a dry title and a loud subtext. The Data and Artificial Intelligence Strategic Action Plan. For lines of effort, data governance, AI culture, rapid ML adoption, partnerships with industry and allies. Bureaucratic on paper, urgent in practice. It read like a confession that human eyes alone couldn't hold the sky anymore. Stakes first. If the anomalies arrive on launch nights, collision alerts, and drills, missing one isn't a curiosity. It's an operational failure with real-world risk for crews, aircraft, and people under those corridors. You can't afford lag. The plan's mandate that every Guardian become AI literate wasn't branding. It was TRIA. Train the force, wire the pipelines, and let models fuse what no single team can. Action as it unfolded starts with plumbing. The plan pulled commercial streams, Starlink, Iridium, Inmarsat imagery and comms, into government stacks as redundancy. Public data blended with classified sensors under a single roof. Radar hits, optical tracks, RF bursts, crowdsourced sky feeds, normalized, time-synced, and tossed into models that flagged outliers in seconds. They didn't say spheres. They called them orbital anomalies and unknowns. The code didn't care about the label. It cared about repeatable geometry and bursts nobody could file as weather. Meanwhile, something else was happening across the enterprise. Units got a cultural order of operations. Assume the anomaly load will exceed human throughput, build automation first, and treat the model's alert as your first draft. Not your verdict, but your start. Command posts that used to watch a dozen plots now watched dashboards that braided dozens of sensors into one quiet weirdness meter. When the needle flicked during a Starship ascent or a simulated intercept, teams were already looking at the window the triangles love. Impact landed in tempo. Where it took an hour to reconcile conflicting tracks, fusion cut it to minutes. A Guardian in Colorado Springs watched 3 independent feeds spit the same equilateral coordinates over a Pacific range right as a drill spun up. Notecasts, no cataloged object, but the system painted ghost geometry with a confidence score that jumped, not drifted. The alert rolled to a field team already staged with portable arrays, because the model predicted the window from last month's pattern. They didn't scramble. They executed. Pushback belongs here. Yararo kept its posture in hearings. No verified extraterrestrial materials, no confirmed non-human craft. The plan never contradicts that. It doesn't name origins. It names throughput. Denial in language, adaptation in behavior. That duality is the gray zone we're living in. Public caution, private readiness. Now remember, partnerships weren't just logos on a slide. The plan formalized ties with commercial providers and allies, stitching NATO space sensors and private downlinks into a mesh that could survive outages and still see. From their perspective, resilience isn't only about anti-jam and hardening. It's also about losing a feed when a triangle slides into a band the system has learned to expect, and carrying on with 3 backups until the window passes. Here's where the model's appetite shows. It doesn't only hunt lights. It hunts timelines. Launch T+6 to T+18 minutes. High priority watch. Conjunction alerts forecast at 1900 hours Z. Raise sensitivity in that slab of sky. Range drill opens corridor Bravo. Pre-stage filters for equilateral spacing at altitudes where wind doesn't explain stability. The plan's rapid ML adoption clause let teams push new detectors every few weeks, not quarters, tuned to the last anomaly cycle, ready for the next. A microstory nails the shift. A junior analyst, fresh off an AI course he didn't expect to take, sits night watch. The dashboard pings a pattern over Kazakhstan minutes after a heavy lift clears the stack. 3 points, clean geometry, confidence climbing. He tags it, routes a quiet alert to a partner node, and watches ground sensors spin up without a phone tree, without panic. 12 minutes later, the formation dims. He logs it and moves on. Routine, inside a story that used to be rumor. Impact on policy is subtle but real. Debris mitigation isn't a press release. It's a model parameter to keep thresholds below whatever draws triangles early. Anti-ISAT norms aren't only diplomacy, they're risk controls in an environment where intervention, if it exists, arrives on schedule. The plan made space for that. Ambiguity by building a machine that doesn't care why the pattern appears, only that it does, and that people need to be ready when it does. In the aftermath, the force looks different. Fewer eyes on raw feeds, more hands tuning models. Field teams who used to chase reports now pre-position where the code points. The public language stays careful. The internal tempo says the opposite. Treat anomalies like weather you can forecast, windows you can stage for, and geometry you can expect. Policy on paper is one thing. Boots on gravel under a quiet triangle are another. Quiet missions, field deployments, and whistle